gentlemen, you are here with the boys of Boy and Soy on our post-credits segment. Post-credits is the segment where we go through movies, TV, entertainment, and all the good stuff in between. I am Nolan Chang, your co-host, and with me as always are my longtime friends and co-hosts, Keona McGee, Jalen Holston. Say what's up to the crowd.
What's going on, crowd? In case you missed it, James Gunn still sucks. Just gonna
Alrighty.
throw that out there.
What a way to start the day. Don't worry. If they're listening, I don't think they've missed it at all. There's always one way you kind of slip that in,
updating everyone
right?
on the current situation.
Is it an update or is it just kind of like a constant?
It's a good reminder of what not to do.
There you go.
Well, on today's segment, we're going to go through a few things. Obviously, Jalen has kind of touched on something that does revolve around James Gunn. We will be going into the casting of Superman, Clark Kent, and Lois Lane for the Superman Legacy movie set to release in 2025. We also will be going into the Dune trailer that just released, trailer 2, I guess you could call it, which gives a much more in-depth look with a lot more kind of cutscenes, action, a little bit more meat to the bone of it. We're also going to hit the Secret Invasion episodes 1 and 2 review for you guys, as the 3 will probably be releasing after this episode is posted.
Might just post it Monday.
Yep. So you'll probably see episode 3 within the next coming days. But to start off this segment, we are going to kind of go into a little bit of the July releases. If you remember, if you've been around for at least a month, last month we did kind of go into the movies that were releasing in June, as it is the summer blockbuster season. So there are some things that kind of hit in a different way during the summertime. We'll note that it doesn't have as much of a jam-packed feeling as June did. But there are some notable names that we are going to go into. The first one coming up would be for July 7th. Not too much of a big one, but it is Joyride. Now, the only reason I included Joyride is because there has been a lot of critical acclaim, I guess you could call it, for this comedy starring 4 Asian American women. Kind of like it's definitely a rated R comedy from my understanding. And it does kind of have that, I don't want to say hangover feel, but maybe like a Get 'em to the Greek kind of feel to it. And it does look kind of exciting, so I am intrigued with that. I don't know, has anyone here actually gone to go see No Hard Feelings with Jennifer Lawrence after we discussed it?
Absolutely not.
Of course
Mainly
not.
because
will
of how
watch it in the
over the
theaters.
top the advertising has been for it. Like, it's just been so... Like,
But,
we
you know,
get it.
that's
okay.
That's
God.
crazy, though, because I'm glad you brought that up, because half the time you get these movies that should be absolute bangers or blockbuster hits.
Right.
The marketing is just ass. And then you get this kind of low-budget comedy starring Jennifer Lawrence about this very, I guess you could say, controversial topic. And it's getting so much marketing and advertising out the wazoo in comparison, and I just don't understand what studios are thinking. Like, why not just... Hey, if you have a big movie like Transformers, Rise of the Beasts, maybe promote
Don't
it
get
a
me
little
wrong.
harder.
I do want to see like comedies like succeed in the theater, but it does seem like the market for comedies has gotten a lot weaker. Like, not a lot of people are going to theaters to see the comedies when you have the opportunity to just wait till it streams and then
And I
view
think
it
it's
from
long
home now.
since past that comedies, you could just go buy a ticket to a comedy and have a great time, but now it's like you need to see a name attached to it in order for you to really get you in the theater seat.
Well, then you're paying like $30
Exactly,
to go.
yeah,
You know what I mean? Like, if it was back in the day when you had like $5
Get
tickets,
a,
maybe
a little matinee price or some sort of coupon.
Even my matinee right now is like $16.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy.
It's so stupid.
But the next week for July 12th.
But Joyride looks great, even though we didn't say anything about Joyride.
I was mentioning Joyride.
Yeah, I was like, that.
Just kind of like,
I was like, I think it looks hilarious. Like, honestly,
and
I was like, I kind of want to see
it.
it.
Goes there in raunchiness, so I was like, hell
Right
yeah,
on.
sign me up.
Yep.
A week later, on Wednesday, July 12th, Mission Impossible: Dead Reckoning Part 1 releases. I don't know if I'm actually caught up on all the Mission Impossibles. but my understanding is that the recent 3, 4 have actually been really good and kind of
Yeah, I was like,
revitalized the series. Kind
I
of in the same vein
Outstanding.
as
they're
Fast and the
bangers.
Furious.
Yeah.
So this one looks to
How
be
dare you put it in the same
No,
category?
no,
as
but I
Fast
mean,
and
like,
Exact
Furious?
opposite. Of
Whoa,
Fast
whoa,
and
whoa, hold
Furious.
up,
They've
hold
gotten
up.
better as the franchise has
Let
kept
me-
going.
And he's
Let
actually
me-
doing the real
let me give context. Fast and the Furious, Too Fast, Too Furious, Tokyo Drift, Fast and the Furious, Fast and the Furious 5, Fast and the Furious 6, 7. We are on 7, right? I think it's movie 7 for that was the trajectory I was going. I'm not talking about 8, 9, and 10.
Well, the fact that you were still going down with Tokyo Drift
Yeah.
is just a
How
fucking
dare you.
travesty.
Drift was
It started
okay.
up. Okay. Wow.
Okay.
How dare you?
Wow.
How dare I?
You are
How dare you.
Japanese. I was like,
Hi-
how dare you not enjoy
Anyways,
the movie?
Mission Impossible Directing Part 1. From my understanding as well, the action that we have seen in the trailers thus far, in the TV spots, is just like the tip of the iceberg for it, and there's supposed to be so much more crazy stuff going on. So I am definitely excited about that. Gentlemen, are you guys hyped on the train for it?
Can we put him in like a bot? Like, can we get him assessed? Like, what is wrong with this person? You know what I mean? Like, the man
The bike
is
stunt.
insane. Okay, like
Mhm.
they were like, the lead actor of this movie has to do this stunt first in case he dies, and everyone was just
Yep.
like, yeah, sounds good. We only invested like $450 million into this movie, but yeah, that's fine. Yeah, go ahead, Tom.
No.
You know what I mean? Like, no one was like, hey, maybe do that one last. Because you could, die. What the fuck?
Not to mention, there are so many things that could have gone wrong with that, like stunt, like a gust of wind. He gets blown off to the side of the
literal
ramp. You know what
gust
I
of
mean?
wind.
Like
One pebble on the
I'm
ramp.
just
Just imagine the
yeah,
Deadpool
exactly.
2 scene where the gusts of wind,
Oh yeah,
where everyone just dies in different
Yeah.
ways.
Yes.
like that. Just like
But
I don't know,
God be
man.
with you,
He's
Tom
crazy.
Cruise.
He's honestly he's insane. I mean, I thought the airplane stunt was like already, but this one, I'm like, bro, there's no like safety net deal. You know what I mean? Like he is full fledged, full body, flying off the side of a
Psychotic.
cliff. Like
He did it
and
6
he's-
times.
Yeah, insane.
Psychopath.
Not to
Actually,
mention,
His-
who's
the
cleaning up
insurance
those
on
bike
him
parts
must
that are
be
smashing on the ground
crazy.
after that?
that's what I'm
All right?
saying. Is there a guy just there, like a spotter down there? Like, yeah, that one went over there.
Tom, you're up. Damn it.
Environmentally, that's probably not great for the environment. I'm just saying. Just
Yeah, probably
chucking
not.
bikes off the side of a cliff into the forest or wherever
I mean,
we are.
Jesus, for Top Gun, he's like, oh yeah, you want to be in the movie? You're gonna have to learn how to fly an actual
At-
fucking
at
Air
9
Force
Gs.
at 9Gs to act in this movie.
Yeah.
By the way,
That reminds me of Miles Teller
What?
describing the train like. Have you seen that
Oh, yeah.
video
No.
where they had to work on the training for it?
Mhm.
But yeah, other than that, I mean, he's a crazy man. His insurance is probably crazy on his life, and
Hot
We'll
take,
see.
it's going to be a banger. I'm just
no,
saying.
I agree.
I was
that's gonna be great.
Yeah. The
Um,
building of those movies has been great.
a week later, and this is I guess you could say the double feature, full course meal. It'll be Oppenheimer, as well as the
Oof.
release of Barbie.
Oh.
Now, in a
Hell.
perfect world where we have, the funds and the time and the energy and the motivation to do so, my question to you guys: if you guys were going to do a double feature of it, go to the theater to see both back to back, what order are you seeing this in?
I'm gonna see Barbie and then immediately exit because I don't need to watch Oppenheimer.
Okay, fair enough. Thanks for the hypotheticals. Keanu,
I would see
I
Barbie
would
first. That's
go-
got Will Ferrell in it. That's it.
Yeah.
Fair
I would
enough.
go Oppenheimer and then go into Barbie. Like if it's a double feature type of deal, just because I like to end it on like a more positive note. Not sure where Oppenheimer's leading to, but it looks a lot more intense. So,
I think we know exactly where it's leading.
Yeah,
to.
that's what I'm saying. So I'm just like, it's going to be
Christopher
obviously
Nolan
kind of
spares
depressing,
no
so-
expense for CGI. He was like, listen, guys, this movie, this is what we're doing. And everyone was just like,
got it, bud.
you can't do, no, We are going to do
We're
this
doing
with
it.
real, actual
Practical
bombs
effects.
and effects. It's like, Christopher Nolan, you're going to try to do what?
I called Japan. They're not interested in helping us.
Exactly.
But found an island off the edge of Costa Rica. We got this.
Exactly.
Kaboom.
But yeah, I mean, I think I'm in agreement with you, Keone. I think I need to hit that dark spell first, and then kind of get a little more uplifting. But Greta Gerwig did say that people left the early screenings of Barbie crying or in tears of some sort. So maybe we'll just be emotionally broken and mentally broken for both movies.
Barbie dies. No, I'm joking.
How dare you?
Maybe.
I mean, maybe Barbie,
Yeah.
maybe that Barbie dies.
I do tend to not view the Oscar bait movies in theaters just because, like, I don't know. Like it's like Keone said, if I'm gonna go spend money on a movie, it better be some kind of visual effects spectacle, like a Transformers or like a Top Gun, right? Where like the theater experience is gonna enhance my viewing of the film, whereas like an Oscar bait movie, which is really all this is, as far
But
as
I
Oppenheimer
mean,
goes, I'm like,
the use of practical effects in Oppenheimer kind of gives me like maybe I should see this thing in theaters with the surround sound.
well, then
and
we
the
need to
big-
lock up Nolan too if he's out here being all practical trying to do Hiroshima for a fucking movie. What is wrong with this man?
Hey, let the man live.
He's reached a new level of crazy.
He is a
I just want to go for
godsend
Cillian
director.
Murphy. I
know, I love Cillian
That
Murphy.
dude is.
I mean,
he's bad.
This
too.
He's so
thing
good.
has a ton of actors. I believe it has Matt Damon in it, Robert Downey Jr.,
Yep.
Josh Peck is in this movie.
Yep.
I think one
Randomly.
of the Jonas Brothers is
Randomly, yeah. I was like, I don't even know why Josh Peck is in this movie, but
I was
I
like,
was like,
what?
has he gotten any better? No. Like, I don't understand why he keeps
Hey,
getting
maybe
cast.
he just he needs
No,
some
he
acting.
hasn't.
Okay.
Drugs
Have
will
you
get you,
seen
man.
any of his last 2-3 movies?
I don't remember what they are. So, anyways, but Barbie also is actress packed. So I am definitely excited for those two movies. They should be interesting to see. I probably will only pick one of them to actually see in theaters, and I'm assuming Nicole's going to want to see Barbie, so I'm going to go with that one.
Margot Robbie
my
and her
girlfriend
scripts,
wants
though.
to see.
Well, I mean, I want to see it too, but if I had the choice between two and she chooses to go see,
I'm
But
very
I think she
interested in
also-
it because Margot Robbie doesn't really miss much. You know what I mean? Like, even in the Suicide Squad and all that, like she was still like an absolute banger of a performance.
let's face
So
it, she is Suicide Squad. Come on.
she is the whole kit and caboodle. Yep.
And the last one that we're going to touch on is for Friday, July 28th. Haunted Mansion releases, and I don't want to say this is a reboot, but it kind of is. I don't know. I mean, you could randomly get some different things from Eddie Murphy's rendition of it back in the day. Not even back in the day, but you know. What I mean.
Is this
but I
the
am
Disney
excited to see
movie?
it. Yes. It has Owen
On
Wilson,
streaming?
Keith
Okay.
Standfield.
Keith Stanfield.
I remember. I'm
Tiffany
remembering the
Haddish?
trailer.
No.
Yeah,
Tiffany Haddish.
I think
is
so.
in it, right?
Yeah, she's in there.
Yeah, Tiffany Haddish. She's the
but it-
gypsy lady.
Looks like a fun family movie. Obviously, summer's a family time thing. Kids are out of school. Parents may or may not have some time off work.
Given what you just said, though, it does look a little darker than normal. Like I was like, even watching some of the stuff, I was like, huh, the dead people look
I mean,
dead.
when you
Like, it's
really
not like
look at
Disney dead.
Eddie Murphy's, that has some dark things as well. Like they had the Dead Corpses
Yeah.
movie, and they had Murder by Poison. And
But I mean, like dead people wise, it was mostly just like the actors just green. You know what I'm saying? Like it wasn't like flesh falling kind of stuff. Like
That
that's
is
why I
true.
was like, that was something that stood out to me. I was like, oh, Disney actually like made it a little creepier than they normally do. So
that's
I don't know.
true.
I told Bianca, I was like, Bianca really wanted to see it. I was like, I'm not gonna lie, doesn't look bad. I kind of do want to see it too. So
Well,
and
the
Lakeith Stanfield. I mean, come on.
I know, I love that guy. So
Yeah,
whenever
right.
he's in, I'll watch it. The next thing we're going to hit on is the Dune 2 trailer Dune 2 trailer 2 that has released this week. Keone, I'm going to throw it over to you first because I know you have a ton of thoughts and excitement out of this trailer viewing. Let us know what you
Stop
thought.
it. Just stop it.
Okay.
Just-
All right, we're done here.
Whoever is
thank you guys
creating
for
Dune
joining
2,
us
stop
on
it.
the podcast.
Yeah, man. I mean, from what the couple things that really stood out to me, Austin Butler looks insane. Like, I mean, we've already seen, or at least I've seen. I don't know if you guys got a chance to see his acting chops in Elvis. I just think whatever he's going to be doing next is going to be amazing. So he looks already fantastic and menacing in his own crazy looking way. So I'm
For
excited to
real.
hear or see him in this movie. Obviously, Batista is in there. We already know the caliber of actor he is, and I can just only imagine what this character is going to be like. It's funny because a lot of people are pointing to the fact that his character looks a lot like his character from C. If you've ever gotten a chance to
I
watch the
have not.
show, he played Jason Momoa's brother in that one. So it looked eerily similar, obviously without the white skin deal, but so yeah, I mean, menacing as always, that dude, and I'm glad to see him finally kind of get like his chance to be like a true villain, or at least that's what we're seeing so
He's kind of
far
like
from the
the, I
trailer.
guess you could say, kind of the right hand man of the True Stellan
Yeah,
Skarsgård
yeah,
is
yeah.
kind of
I
the
guess,
big head.
yeah. That's what I was like, and that's the other dude. That dude. I mean, there's so many people like pop. I mean, even Christopher Walken. I was like, I had no idea he was even going to
Florence
be a part of this
Pugh,
project.
Javier
Yeah,
Bardem.
yeah.
It's a
It's
whew,
stacked. It's like stupid stacked. I mean, this one looks a lot more action packed. I imagine it's gonna end on a cliffhanger because I do feel like this isn't the end of the Dune series.
No,
I
no.
thought I thought we discussed. I think part two is just the conclusion of that first storyline that
Original.
was made for TV movie, and then they're going to
Hmm.
expand onto the books for probably more on Paul Atreides. But I think
Gotcha.
it'll probably conclude as a complete film for what that thing is, you know.
No,
But it could be wrong.
no. I mean, yeah, no, yeah. I mean, it definitely could, but I mean, it seems like that's like the trend nowadays.
Yeah,
Trilogies and all that kind of stuff. But I
trilogies.
mean, yeah, you're damn right. Maybe they just shove it all into this. Obviously, it's going to be a very long movie. I'm excited for it. It looks freaking fantastic. The visual effects are stunning as always. Like the characters, the costumes, everything looks really good already. And we haven't even really gotten to see much from the movie. So I mean,
What it's about.
yeah,
Right.
exactly. And that's I was like, that's don't even know how much of a time jump we're getting here, or if there even is a time jump here. But everything looks really, really good. I'm super excited to see it. I mean, I don't think they can do any wrong with this series, man. And like Jay said I think on the last time we kind of talked about this, like,
Yeah.
know nothing about the lore, know really nothing about like this entire world universe deal. But I mean, the more I learn about it, the more I'm like super interested to find out more about it. And they did a fantastic job. Timothy Chalamet, man.
Truth.
Yeah.
Sir Jalen. Once again, looks like Denis Villeneuve is gonna crush it as a director and story writer. What were your thoughts on this trailer? Are there any things that you're still kind of hoping to see or understand more of from the movie? And was there any big highlights that you saw?
I think as long as it still makes the politics of that universe interesting, like it did in the first film, I'll be good to go because it is a
Mm-hmm.
very heavily a political kind of world of
Yeah,
why the war is happening the way that it's happening and what people matter to what part of the narrative with Apollo and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, I'm excited to see all that. You love Zendaya. My fan casting pick, Mr. Timothy Chalamet, is obviously going to crush it yet again.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that brother's going to be around for a long time, and he's
Yeah.
absolutely phenomenal. So I'm out of my mind excited. Again, this world gave us Star Wars, and there's definitely all those threads in there as far as like the political moves and like a great overarching war, a chosen one set to bring order and peace, like that kind of all those themes kind of come through, and it's cool to see those threads within the Dune series. So
absolutely. Yeah, I'm definitely excited for this. Definitely one of those worlds that I do, like Keone said, want to learn more about because they
Mm-hmm.
seem to make you want. They give you a little sample and they're like, "Hey, come back for more. It's gonna happen." So definitely excited for that. I think December, I believe, is the release, if I'm correct.
Yep.
So that's gonna be a nice little holiday movie for once again families to enjoy when the kids are out of school or whatever it may be. And this time it won't be day and date release with HBO Max, so it'll get its full due in the theater box office run.
Or it's full Dune.
See what you did there.
stop it.
See what you did there.
I'll see you guys later.
Yeah. Never come back.
God.
Anyway.
In Vegas. No, I'm just joking.
Viva! Austin Butler just starts singing it.
Yeah.
Right?
He did kill it in the movie, so I'm just saying, boy can sing.
Vegas is a desert, huh? Okay.
Now you're
Anyways,
reaching. Now you're reaching.
the next thing that may be a little divisive between the group here is a little bit of a talking point of the Superman legacy castings for Superman, Clark Kent, and Lois Lane. I'm going to start it off with you, Sir Jalen, because I know this IP is near and dear to your heart in general.
It is.
Before you really get into it,
I should have went first.
I'm instantly regretting it as I see him, this face a brewing. Jalen, let us know what you think your thoughts are on these two castings for the movie.
Moronic, idiotic. How is this even happening? Mainly on the Superman end. The Lois casting is whatever. A lot of people have played Lois Lane. None of them have lived up to the original actress that played the role in the Christopher Donner films. My personal opinion. Even the great Erica Durance, she gave it a good go, but it's not even just way down here in comparison. And don't get me started on Amy Adams. Dear God. Anyway, the casting of the actual Man of Steel himself is the most ridiculous that I've ever seen. Mainly because, not because the actor probably can't act or whatever, he's fairly unknown, I'm sure he'll do fine. My issue is that he looks so much like Henry Cavill in his face, and even when he puts the muscle on, it's not like when Henry Cavill got cast, because between Brandon Routh and Henry Cavill, two very distinctive looking men to play Superman, right? And then between Brandon Routh and Christopher Reeve, like very distinctive looking Superman. This guy is the literal, it's like his baby brother. Like, why did we do this casting? Why does this movie have to exist?
That's a
it
really
makes no
good point.
sense. At this point, you should have just fucking made another movie with Henry Cavill if you're going to cast a guy that looks exactly like him to do the role. That's my issue with it. I'm sure he's a great guy. Congratulations to that dude, because obviously breaking into Hollywood is super tough. Yada, yada, give you all your flowers. But at the same time, it's just more fuel as to why James Gunn is an absolute moron at the end of the day. So, again, if this universe even happens, given what's going on right now with WB selling off rights to Netflix for characters and things like that, they are literally trying to recover everything they can because of how bad The Flash bombed. I mean, great that they have a cast for now, but I just think these were dumb. You know, I think the Lois casting is fine. I think that actress is great, but the Superman casting is stupid. About
Just based off of looks.
Correct. Like it's just like, what are you, like, the look that they're going for with Superman Legacy? Like, I'm thinking maybe it's an older Superman. Maybe it's a,
I mean, they said from the beginning it was going to be his early years with the cape.
Even so, get someone that looks more distinctively young. Like, young. Like, give me a 22, a 24-year-old looking super guy. He still looks like Henry Cavill, maybe 5-6 years young, like when he got Man of Steel. Like, that's what he looks like. Like, you're giving us the same vibe.
I don't actually know how old he is, though, so that's a good point.
You know what I mean? Like, that's my issue. It's just, it's not a departure enough from the most recent example we have.
Sweet.
Yeah, I looked him up a little bit.
And Lois Lane is Rachel Brosnahan.
She's great.
Who are unaware.
She's great.
As I look up the age, Keone, what were your thoughts on these two castings?
I mean, from a look perspective, they do look the part. But I now hearing Jay's kind of take on it, it does make a lot of sense why he had issue with it, and it does actually make a lot of sense for me as well. Because that is an interesting take, like to recast, but essentially cast somebody who does look almost exactly like the side by side pictures were eerie. Like that's why to me it looked like a great casting because you look at it and it's like, wow, he looks
he looks
exactly
like a
like him.
Superman.
But you're right. That's actually a fantastic point. Like the fact that he does look so similar to Henry Cavill, it is weird that they would make do the recasting deal and like essentially pick a guy who's younger Henry Cavill. So, I mean,
If you're at home right now, I want you to do something for me, okay? Pull up profile pictures of Christopher Reeve, Brandon Routh, Tom Welling, I'll even throw him in the mix, and Henry Cavill. See how closely together all of those gentlemen look. There's an overarching theme of they look like they could play Superman. Yes.
maybe
But
a jawline.
the actors themselves,
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
very distinctive on the look that they were going for those iterations of the character. Now look up Henry Cavill and Christopher, or whatever, what's his name? What's his name? What's the new guy? Dave
sure.
something.
Cornsweat.
Dave and
Corn
Cornsweat.
sweat.
Pull a side by side up. What the hell are we doing?
Casting younger.
Yeah, that's it's funny because that is a fantastic point. I guess from just a overarching like feel of what this dude is, from everything I've read on him and everything I've heard about him, I haven't actually watched anything with him in it, but he is supposed to be one of those young up and coming, really, solid actors, and he obviously looks the part. I do know currently he's not like the build just yet as far as like the Superman build for body type.
Oh,
Yeah,
that'll
a couple
fix
horse
it.
strength
That'll
steroids.
fix
He'll
it.
be good to go.
Which especially now seems to be like pretty regular for actors to do. Lois Lane, don't know her either. Never seen anything with her in it either. But like I said, another one, when you read up on her, she seems to be catching the attention of all of the people who, like all of the critics who are out there. They seem to be praising her as like a great selection for it. Obviously, I'm in the same train as Jay. I mean, we have the sour taste of Amy Adams as the last Lois Lane. I didn't like her in that part at all. And
Awful.
I think that I think they had horrible chemistry together, the two of them, even though Henry Cavill was like fantastic. So
It was how she
yeah.
was written, I think, more than Amy Adams herself. Like,
Yeah.
they
Yeah.
turned Lois into this damselly, non-competent human being.
And she's also not a bad. I mean, she's obviously not a bad actress. So,
No,
I mean,
and that's
yeah,
why
it
I was
has
so
nothing to do with
disappointed.
her.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, so I mean, the fact that this girl has the acting chops, he has the acting chops, they both do look the part. I mean, I think it could be something interesting, but yeah, I mean, that is a fantastic point that Jay made, and I didn't even think about it about like that way until he said it. So I was like, yeah, that's actually a very good point. But yeah, I mean, we'll see. I mean, who's directing this? I'm sorry, I didn't.
James Gunn.
Oh, it is James.
He
Gunn
said he wanted to
actually
take care
directing
of this first one himself.
it. Got you. Okay, so I mean, I'm like 50-50 on him right now. You know what I mean? Like I personally enjoyed the Guardians of the Galaxy movie. I really thought that he did fantastic with that. But obviously there are some things that have been, coming out post Flash and like the non-success of that film and all that kind of stuff that's making me like hesitate to be like fully on board with him. So this will be a breaking point for me. Like I'll either break one way or the other, depending on the success of this film. And we'll see.
Success or
Success for me, not
Gotcha.
not money
because I was
wise.
like,
Just
well, I'm
like
pretty sure it's not gonna. It's
Yeah,
still gonna
yeah,
be
yeah.
digging out of a hole when it comes
like
out. Which,
my actual like feeling of the film.
yeah,
Like
okay.
so that for me is where. But yeah, so I mean, depending on how he does with this, I mean, it could go either way for me. I'm literally right on that line for him right now. So we'll see.
Yeah, I mean, for the castings, I really have no issues with them. They're both young actors and actresses, as are many people who
How
end
old
up
is he?
becoming
Did you
stars.
catch-
He's 29. He's 29.
20. Oh, okay.
I believe, which is the same age Henry Cavill was cast.
It's about what
When-
Henry Cavill was when he got cast. I mean,
Gotcha.
yeah, like I said, it's all fine.
Around there.
They'll probably do a great job in the movie or whatever. But it's just
do this, he has something he's about to like
No, I mean, they'll do fine. They'll probably be great actors in the movie. I know they're probably great actors right now. And again, congrats to both because like going with unknowns, I think is a good move because then you don't have any extra baggage of like, oh, you got this actor playing whatever. You know what I mean? Especially if you're trying to do a new thing. But again, I don't know if we're even going to get there because of how bad The Flash was. This whole idea of rebooting the universe is, again, the most moronic thing I've ever seen because he had a layup and then he just bricked it just right off the rim. Dropped the ball because Black Adam had Henry Cavill in the movie and he had the whole universe set up with Dwayne The Rock Johnson and Aquaman and Wonder Woman and, Ezra Miller. But hey,
just for my own like clarification, superhero films wise, Guardians was him.
Guardians 1, 2, and 3. Suicide Squad, the second one. I believe those are the only 3 superhero movies. He's made like his own IP superhero. What was it called? It was called Super, wasn't it? Am I mistaken, Jalen?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, that was
like
back in the day.
He does superhero movies. Like this is not a foreign thing for James Gunn for sure. It's just the whole trying to be a Kevin Feige. Clearly, he didn't take many notes when he was working for Marvel.
I guess my only thing is like my one final determining thing with him will be kind of like the tone he sets with this one, because obviously like the movies we've seen from him thus far have been more on like the quirky kind of funnier.
I mean, that's
slapstick
not how you should
side.
make a Superman. So if that's immediately going to be
that's why I'm saying I was like it'd be very interesting to see the tone that he goes with for this film, because obviously like at least from what I've seen from him, because I'm not too familiar with James Gunn outside of the superhero stuff, like it'll be interesting to see like where he goes with the film, because
I mean he's either going to make the bed or he's going to shit the bed. So we'll find out in 2025, everybody.
There's a shirt right there.
See you there.
And the final thing that we're going to go over in this segment today is episodes 1 and 2 of Secret Invasion that has released on Disney Plus. It is the next Marvel property that has come to the screen.
And it's so good right now.
If you guys didn't know, we have a live audience with us today.
Fantastic.
But yeah, I'll throw it back to you, Keone. Episodes 1 and 2. Thoughts? What did you love? Is this... It did get some second to lowest viewership.
Are we spoilering this?
I mean, it's been out. Yeah, it's a week to week. We're going to spoil it,
just making sure before I say anything.
It has been, I guess, recorded. The first episode came in with the second lowest viewing rate in a 5-day window, only beating Miss Marvel.
Oh boy!
Anyways, but
which is a shame
that the viewership number is a actual representation of the quality of the show.
No, I don't. I think it has 100% everything to do with the fact that the viewership on Disney Plus has dropped in general. Just in like general speaking sense, like talking with coworkers or like friends, family, whatever. It's crazy how many people like decided to cancel their Disney Plus memberships because of like the lack of like solid content to like
and new content.
To like do anything with Disney Plus. So for me, I think that has a lot to do with it, because there are so many people like that just fell off the train once we like, once the Lokis were done, and like we just went on that train of like She-Hulk and Miss Marvel and all these kind of like not that great shows. Yeah, I know. Yeah. The Boba Fett show, like there was so much. Like I do think like right now it's basically like Mandalorian kind of keeping them afloat if there are people who like still follow that. And then as far as like the Marvel side, it's Loki maybe like that maybe are going to keep people coming back. So I think that because of all the failures that they've had on Disney Plus, they definitely dropped off viewership in general. For this show though, I think part of the reason why we're not retaining a lot of people outside of what I just said is just there's just so much other content out there right now that I'm sure people are like more like Black Mirror has been like one that I know a lot of people have still tune into and watch. They just dropped that like American Gladiators thing on Netflix, the Tom Holland show on Apple TV. Like there's so many different things going on right now that it seems to kind of draw away from the fact that they haven't really thrown a lot of attention to the show because there wasn't a lot of great advertisement for it. I didn't really get to see too much, like at least on my end, just like in whatever random space, whether it be YouTube ads or whatever it might be, or on TV. But yeah, I don't know why, but they just didn't really give the time to like advertise the show as much as I'd like them to have. But all that aside, if you're not watching the show, get back on the train, man.
What are you doing?
Like, yeah,
What are you doing?
what are you doing? Yeah, because like me, I was like, I went in hoping for exactly what I got, and it's exactly that idea of like a spy thriller. There are Marvel elements. It's not like they're throwing it in your face that this is the Marvel universe. Obviously, it's very Marvel heavy stuff going on, but you're just focused on the fact that there's like this mysterious, like, you know,
Behind the
outside
scenes,
force. Yeah, exactly. Like
conspiracy
there's so many
stuff.
different things that are going on. Like, and now second episode stuff, we're like already kind of getting to the point where you're like already second guessing who's who and who's
Right.
not who,
I'm like,
right?
right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like,
There's a lot.
At this point, who's to say?
Yeah. I mean, they obviously dropped the first big bombshell off after the first episode. Even that's one of those that like so many people
Pause.
are like on.
Over under. Was that actually Maria Hill?
See, that's
I'm gonna put that at 30%.
See?
it's
See?
that's
Is it
that's
actually
exactly
Maria?
what I just that's exactly what I was just about to say. Is like it started this huge debate online whether or not that was actually her. I would like to say that it wasn't her, but the only thing that's kind of having me at a pause for that is the fact that like,
When they die, they're supposed to change back.
yeah, that's why that's what I was waiting for.
That's why I'm
But
hanging
then
on
again,
to it.
yeah, but then again, they didn't like necessarily like. She still could have been like, you know what I mean? Like it wasn't necessarily dead just yet. So, I mean, there is that whole
Coulson,
deal.
you know.
Yeah, and the other part I kind of felt like took away from it a little bit was like, I mean, I'm not saying she's a major character, but her death felt like it could have been a little bit more significant. So if it really
Yeah.
was her,
Yeah.
it seemed
It
like
was
a
kind of very sudden.
yeah, like it didn't really build up to that. So I mean, I get, you know, you kind of want to leave like that sense of like for next week, but at the same time, it also felt like maybe they owed her a little bit more as a character, considering how many movies she's been a part of thus far. And if she was going to be written out of the show, like it felt like it should have had a little bit more something put behind it. But other than that, I mean, yeah, like obviously, like we've seen, what's his name from the Lord of the Rings? What is that guy's name? He's also Black Panther. Agent Ross. No, that's not his name. Is it Agent Ross? No, Agent.
I know you're talking about Martin. Something Martin.
Yeah,
He played
guy.
Bilbo, right? Is that...
Yes. So that guy, whatever his name in the show, like he's another one that's kind of like, where is he if he's not him and all that kind of stuff. Like there's so many like things that I'm thinking like, where the hell are the actual people at? Since apparently they do the whole like put them in the machine thing and then transfer the conscious. Yeah, so that's what I'm like. There's gonna be like that kind of stuff, and then I don't know if you guys felt this, but does it feel like Rhodey isn't Rhodey?
Yeah, I started feeling a little sus at the table scene for a minute.
That seemed a little like I was like, I know
it seems like a perfect plan for a villain to get Nick Fury out of the equation. I was like,
exactly. Yeah.
Now Rhodey's a little liberal, but he ain't like at the end of the day, he's still gonna side with the Avengers stuff. You know what I mean?
We saw Infinity War, right? Like
he flipped sides there in Civil War.
Exactly.
You know?
So I was like, that to me seemed a little out of place. So I was like, maybe that's not actually him. Anyway, I don't want to talk too much because I do want Jalen to be able to like expand on all his thoughts. Because honestly, there was so many parts where I was just like, are you who say you are? But I do think that that's the fun of this show. On top of it being like a mystery type of deal, is like I'm sitting there constantly questioning everybody now because I'm like, I don't know who is real and who's not.
I think that was really what they're going for because it's supposed to be
exactly.
like, wow!
It's so good, yeah.
I do like the way you brought up, like, oh, when we talk about the viewership, like it does seem like a lot of people are just canceling their subscriptions
Yeah.
because not enough new content coming out. And do you think it's ever possible for them to just overlap more releases for themselves so that they don't have any sort of breaks? Because
Well,
if you
then
really,
they fall into the same trap that we like. There's too
I know,
much coming
but
out, and
like,
then it's just shit.
but
You
just
know.
kind of making it lowering the
I
budget a bit, understanding what should be kind of increased in CGI. Because if you're making
hmm
real full-on movie
hmm
quality effects in every single show you guys are doing, then you're already kind of you're over complicating something that could be beautiful,
Yeah.
right? Like back in the day before streaming kind of hit, Jalen probably knows it. I'm sure Keone knows as well. Tuesday, boom, watch The Flash. Wednesday, boom, watch Arrow. Thursday,
Yep.
boom, watch Supernatural.
Yeah.
Right? It didn't
Oh
matter
boy,
that
that
these were
was a
all the
hell of a
same
lineup when that was
channel,
up. Yeah.
but it just
Yeah.
they would hit on each night, so you could still
hmm
tune in weekly. Do you think we
Yeah.
can ever kind of get back to that, where it's even if it's Star Wars, Marvel, animated or something
Yeah.
like that, where we can kind of stagger it a bit, make it something that's
They
worthwhile?
definitely can. But the hard part about it is that there is such thing as as a digital effects budget. You know what I
Yep.
mean? Like
Yeah.
so like the unfortunate thing is like in order for them to be great, they got to throw a lot of money at these effects, and I think that alone probably is the reason why we don't get like longer shows and like lengthier things. I mean, given for this show, like you could go a little more practical more often so that you do have the ability to like stretch the
I mean,
content a little bit more.
I feel like the Netflix Marvel shows had the blueprint there. They just
Yeah, I
didn't
mean, but
have
that
the
was very
direction.
boots to the ground stuff.
Exactly,
You know what
right?
I mean?
Like what if you just made it and kind of equal out,
Like
make the big production
honestly,
stuff
I'd be
for the
okay
big
with that.
screen?
Like, get more boots to the ground stuff, get more or less like physical like stuff, and so you don't have to have all the visual effects. And
Yeah.
yeah, you're right. You could definitely like. I think Netflix kind of has nailed down the formula, right? Like where they're like, we'll drop 2 episodes. They're like 40 to 50 minutes a piece. So viewers are constantly coming back to watch. I know me and Bianca, we do that very often. Like we're waiting till the next week to see another 2 episodes of a show. Whereas opposed to like Disney, it's like 1 episode, and if that 1 episode isn't a banger, then
Then
you're just like,
screwed.
yeah, exactly. You're not like, oh, okay, now I can kind of fill out the story a little bit more with the second episode. You're just like, oh, I got one crap episode, and I gotta
I
wait
don't
till
want
next
to come
week to
back
find
for it.
out. Yeah, you gotta wait till next week to find out if it's not crappy again. I think that's their
Which is
formula
sad.
right now.
Which
Yeah,
is sad
it
because that's how
sucks.
TV was. That's how
Yeah.
exactly how TV was. But
And they have so
Yeah.
the thing
I
is
digress.
I mean we've been on this train already, but it's like they have so much content, so I don't understand how they're not able to like really flesh out this stuff because they really do have the world of like universes and things to fill out. Like we haven't even gotten this much of that entire universe. Like
Yep.
it's so much stuff that I think that's what drives me nuts about it. But yeah, I mean you're right. You put up a great point. Like it's going to be hard for them to compete, but I do think last point here is like they should go back to bringing out the straight to streaming movies, like because one, some of their movies haven't been great in the theaters anyway. No point in dropping them in there when they're not going to make that much money. And two, it feels like that alone kind of helps their streaming service because they do have kids that like, or they do have like the child audience, right? Like people who have families typically are the ones that have this service, and it's like one of those things where it's like cater to that. You know what I mean? Like Elemental, we actually really enjoyed it. Thought it was actually a fantastic movie, but that probably could have just been a streaming movie. Like it didn't need to be in the theater, even though we enjoyed it in the theater. You know what I mean? Like
I feel that.
or day and day release or whatever. Yeah.
Jalen, as I throw it over to you, my main question: does Nick Fury know he's banging a scroll?
I don't think he has any clue or recollection that it's a scroll. I don't even know if it is a scroll at this point. We'll find out. Everybody, he could be a scroll, and we're just watching the
Is it?
whole
No,
catastrophic.
was it?
I don't know.
Am I tripping?
No, she's 100% a scroll.
She's a
Yeah,
scroll.
she's a scroll.
They definitely show.
But,
Did you
um,
transform?
yeah.
I was
They
like,
did.
wait a second.
They did.
Does Jalen know?
I think he. Let's say.
James, like,
I mean,
episode 2 came
if
out.
he doesn't know, that would be shocking. That would be pretty crazy. But is what it is. No, love the show. Again, they're nailing all the elements of what an action spy thriller is supposed to be. There's good questions to be asked. Like, we're kind of hanging on the edge of our seat with all the scenes. We don't know who to trust. Mm-hmm. We don't know what characters are going to make it, what characters are not going to make it, etc. I will say this. This is my only bit. I swear to God, if Brie Larson shows up in this fucking show, I'm going to lose my shit. Okay?
Don't do this. Don't do this to yourself.
I swear on everything holy. I get it because the movie happened, right? That's when all the stuff kind of started percolating with the Skrull invasion. I get it. We can reference it. We can look at it. But so help me, Lord Baby 3 ounce Jesus. If she shows up, I'm done. I'm out of there.
Lord, there's 3 ounce, reason. Jesus, how small of a baby is that?
But no, like I really just want it to stay pretty contained. Like I would expect like Rhodey to come up in his suit at some point, probably if there's a big action set piece like that. I could see
real
happening.
Rhodey or fake Rhodey.
You know, the thing is,
either way,
the amount of times he kind of like verbalized the idea of him talking about like bombing Slovakia, I was like, I don't think real Rhodey would do that. He wouldn't say that kind of shit to, like, just out loud, kind of blurting like, yeah, I have the iron suit. I can just go drop a carpet bomb on Slovakia. I was like, what?
Oh
I don't know if that's really in his vein.
I'm on the same train as you guys. I think Rhodey is a Skrull. I think I think there's quite a few Skrulls. Also, I'm loving Emilia Clarke. She is
Stark, right?
Crushing this. Yeah.
Yep.
She is.
Yeah.
But yeah, I love her performance in this so far at playing the daughter right now, and she does a good job of displaying that conflict. The dude that is like Grievous or whatever, Gravik, dude, that guy is.
He seems like a complete mastermind, and I love it.
It's a Skrull that was trained by Nick Fury to be part of S.H.I.E.L.D. Like, holy shit, what a villain arc. I am so down to watch whatever the hell is going to happen here. And can we talk about how graphic...
comical reference for him?
He's just like
a made-for movie?
It could be.
Yeah, it could be a made-for-TV thing. But the whole premise of Skrull invasion is like the Fantastic Four had been... Skrulls, and Iron Man had been a Skrull, and literally everyone was like, "Who's a Skrull?" and whatnot, and that exactly. So, they could play that angle and bring Tony Stark back if they want to be honest with you. But then I have to go back and CGI
I'm not even gonna lie,
the transformation.
I was like, I can't even lie.
I wouldn't either, but I'm looking forward to seeing where this goes, and also for a Disney show. Can we talk about that torture scene? That was pretty graphic. Okay,
what did she inject into him?
Apparently it was supposed to boil his blood,
raise the temperature of his blood.
Yeah.
And like,
which is just
if this is the limit in the wall that Disney can push, like yet again, I would prefer it to be rated R. But again, Daredevil is one of those properties that can kind of flirt between that PG-13 to R.
No.
I in no way still believe that you can make a good PG-13 Punisher. That is the only one I'm waiting to hear
I feel that.
It's going to have a mature rating on, because it can't work. It will never work.
Just from a language standpoint, you know what I mean? Like, right. I feel like it'd be weird if he's like, "You flibberty gabbage," and like, you know what I mean? Like, you need him to like throw an F-bomb in there.
I was really hoping. I mean, we had the first F-bomb in Guardians. But, like, I would really like this show to let Samuel L. Jackson get one motherfucker in there. Because there's a scene in the second episode where I swear he was going to drop one. And I was like, come on, say it.
He probably did. Just cut it out.
I mean, now that they finally have one in the theaters movies, I'm sure that
the door's open. Right? I'm just saying. But, 10 out of 10 series.
I feel like,
if you're not watching it, what are you doing? Get out there. Yeah. Go watch it.
I agree.
Perfect. I did want to kind of note, I mean, obviously, before I get into my last note, I do enjoy the 2 episodes. I do enjoy that if you really look at it kind of from just an average TV goer, I would love to kind of analyze the viewership numbers between this and an actual show that kind of revolves around the similar things. Obviously, you have these sci-fi elements, outer space kind of things that drop into Earth. But I kind of started watching a bit of it. I haven't gotten to completely finishing it, but I'm almost there, Keone. Night Agent. I kind of want to see, like, what is the viewership numbers in comparison? Like, if you really looked at Night Agent and looked at the viewership numbers of Secret Invasion, is Secret Invasion viewership a failure, or is it just a failure from Marvel standards? Because, like, if Night Agent is pulling in lower numbers than what Secret Invasion is doing, then overall,
I don't think it. The only reason I don't think that it did is because it was number one for at least a week or two before it dropped out of the top 10. Night Agent was. So I mean, Netflix wise, I mean, I think they have. I just seen this and I can't remember the actual numbers for it, but I know that they have like a specific number it has to hit viewership wise in order to reach that top 10 spot.
Oh,
and so so for it to have hit number one means that it definitely blew up during that time.
And that goes into my next point. Go into it and just watch it, not thinking it's a Marvel show, because this is a good, just kind of spy thriller. You kind of don't know who you trust in, don't know who is who's actually human, who's not. It just has a little sprinkle of comic book so far into it. Obviously, there have been a couple big cliffhangers, I guess you could say, in a way. Or obviously, episode 1 with Maria Hill's death, and episode 2 with maybe Nick Fury is banging the scroll, right? If we don't really
fired,
right. Anyways,
by Rhodey.
Ravik.
I know there's going to be a lot of that throughout the film.
Right. Mr.
Captain
President.
America.
Okay.
We're not going to be able to trust anyone. I feel like the next Marvel movie that comes out, this isn't really him, is it? No, it's got to be Skrull.
I wonder how long it'll last. That's what I'm curious to see.
I mean, there's supposedly millions on Earth now. There's no way
I know.
It could
That's what I'm saying. So we're going to be like,
are dead.
Like 10 years down the road, are we still like, and then somebody just randomly transforms? We're like, oh, like,
no way.
Yeah, exactly.
Might be.
I mean, yeah, you're right.
I mean, we'll find out. But the one thing I did want to actually touch on, because I did just remember it, and it popped up, and I don't know if it's 100% correct. Kind of wanted to get your last bidding thoughts on it. Apparently, Deadpool 3 is close to complete on principal photography, which means that it finished within like 3 months, 2.5 months, maybe. Is this a good indicator? Is this a bad indicator? I'll leave that as an open house.
It's great. Well, I want the movie. Let's go.
Okay,
I agree with that as well. I just want to see it.
Let me.
It'll be fine even with the writer's strike. I think it's fine.
I get it. You're saying it was a short amount of time. Like,
let me recontextualize it. There are rumors going around that there may be a SAG Actors Guild strike. Do you feel like they're
probably
hacking it and just taking what they have on takes in order to get it done, rather than being like, you know what, let's take it from the top again for the 17th time?
I think it's still all going to be fine.
Damn. It also seems like this may be one of those films where you could probably bang out the actual physical acting parts really quickly, and then it'll just be a lot of visual effects. Yeah. So, all
right, right on.
Yeah.
Well, everybody that's tuned in with us and stuck around, we appreciate you all very, very much. All of our socials for Keone McKeague, Jalen Holston, and myself, Nolan Chang, will be in the info below, or the wherever it may be that you're listening. But also, please give our Instagram page, the Point Soy Podcast, a follow, where we're dropping reels on every single post and segment that comes out each week. As always, thank you all for making us a part of your day. We enjoyed having you be a part of ours. From all of us here at Point Soy, goodbye and love, everybody.
Bang, bang.
Yes.